Hey everyone, I hope that you are doing well.
Hi.
These are my two youngest babies. This is Eliza Bell, and she's 4 years old, and this is Elias Benaiah, and he is 2 years old. And today I wanted to tell you about a story that happened in my life recently that just demonstrated this truth about God. It's called the Pie of Restoration. So this past weekend, in the city that I live in, the big thing to do is to go apple picking in the fall. So last Saturday, we went with my family, my brother's family, and we went and picked apples. And it was a fun time. We had a great time. They had all sorts of different types of apples, and Golden Delicious and Fuji and Nightini and, Red Delicious, Golden Delicious, all of them. They were really good. So we came back with a bunch of apples. And one of the things that I decided to do was to make an apple pie. As you can see, it is gone now. But at one point, I had this apple pie that looked very, very good. So you can see that's the final result right there. So I had never made an apple pie. And on Tuesday, I decided that I wanted to make an apple pie for my family, just to make sure that I could do it. And man, it was so good. We really enjoyed it after dinner for dessert, had a little bit left over for later. And so I decided what I wanted to do was to make another pie to help with the ministry that I do. On a regular basis, usually on a weekly basis, I put together a meal and take it out into my community and give it to poor and needy people. And so on Wednesday, I decided that I wanted to make another pie to give to them as dessert. So I made this pie. I was so excited about it. It took me 3 hours to make. I made the crust. I cut the apples up. I made the sauce. It was looking so good. It took me 3 hours to make it, from 3 to 6 p.m. That's how long it took. And later that night, we were watching some TV as a family, and one of my daughters comes in. She said, she said, the dog ate the pie. And I said, no. I was like, oh my goodness. I walk into the kitchen, and sure enough, our dog, Auggie the doggy, the Australian Shepherd that we have, had gotten up onto the oven and had eaten half of our pie, and I was just so sad. I was so sad. Oh man, I was just devastated because I was so excited to give this away, to be a blessing to people. But what happened is after I kind of got over it, I went ahead and I made another pie, a third pie. And so it took me from like 8 p.m. to like 11 p.m. and then I had to let it cool off for a little bit before I covered it. So it was like 4 hours that I spent making another pie after I had to throw the second one away, right? So I was talking with my friend about this, and he just asked me the simple question, do you think that all things happen for a reason? And I was just like, I had thought about that, and I agreed with him that all things do. And so we started discussing it, and what we came up with is like, what could it mean? And we had prayed about it and tried to figure it out. But how I got it was like, our lives are pies, right? Our lives are pies, and God, the Father, the maker of the pie, intends to use the pie for good. He intends to use that life for good. He wants to do good things in the world and be a blessing to other people with the pie. But what happens is, in this case, the adversary, in the form of a dog, right? The enemy comes along and he destroys the pie, whatever that looks like. It can be through temptation, it can be through life circumstances, it can be all sorts of things that happen that it looks like the end result is that the pie is destroyed. And so, you can be devastated about that. Obviously, the father is upset, and he can be sad about it, upset about it. But this is the thing. This is the difference. The pie didn't stay destroyed, right? The pie was restored, because what happened is that the father wasn't done working. He kept working. The father kept working and he made the pie again. And he was able to use that pie to be a blessing. I was still able to take that third pie and give it away as a blessing to other people, and for them to enjoy it. But I just looked back and was like, I didn't give up on it. I kept pushing through. It was destroyed. It looked like the story had ended, but it was restored. The story was restored. And my friend was like, you might be able to use that and share that with somebody at some point. And I did that because a lot of people that I encounter, some of them are homeless, or some of them have made mistakes in the past. Some might be dealing with alcohol or drugs or something, and they might feel like their life is destroyed. But yesterday I was actually able to use the story of the pie to share with them that where it looked like the pie had been destroyed, it was actually restored. And I encourage these people that it might look like their life has been destroyed or wrecked or something by the enemy, but God's not done working yet. And He's not done working with me. He's not done working with you. He's not done working with them. The Father is still baking pies, and He's making your life in a way that He can use it. So I want to encourage you to keep going. If you want to be restored, if you've gone through a time that's been really tough in your life, I think that there's some important things to remember, like to be restored, have a humble heart, seek God, let Him fill you with His Spirit, and be brought back, and allow Him to use you in this world for good. So listen, that's my story of the apple pie, the pie of restoration. I want you to know that you're loved and you're appreciated, and I pray that in some way that this story of the apple pie will be a blessing to you, or that you'd be able to share it with someone in the future and it will be a blessing to them. Know that you're loved and that you're appreciated. Love you guys so much.
So much.